right, welcome to the podcast. I am hanging out with Chelsea Tessier. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So for people that aren't familiar with you, co-owner and head brewer of Polyrhythm Brewing in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Awesome. So talk about Polyrhythm just a little bit. Give us kind of the Coles notes on what you guys are doing over there.
Yeah. So we opened our doors 2.5 years ago. So March 23. Taylor and I are the two owners here. We really wanted to create a space where people felt welcome and like a community space. So where we're situated, you have to kind of like drive around to find us. But we are located like in an industrial park, but also really close to a bunch of neighborhoods, which we actually just moved into and love it there. It's, everyone's just so nice and welcoming. And yeah, that was our goal, just creating a community space, trying to make the best beer that we can, and trying to come out with new and exciting stuff.
Love it. So just to back up a little bit, your background is in environmental science. You had a career in that beforehand. So let's talk a little bit about that. What were you doing in that field?
Yeah, so I graduated from the University of Waterloo with my Bachelor of Science. And that was 2013. And back in Ontario, there was no jobs like at all. I couldn't even get a job waitressing. I was working at the campus pub, and you can only work there 3 months after you graduate. So I'm like, I don't want to move back in with my parents. So my best friend had moved to Edmonton, and she said, you can find a job the next day. So I just packed everything up and I moved out here, applied to actually, the first interview I got was what I ended up doing for almost 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I
So
did.
what was it?
I worked at, it was called Maxam back then. Now it's Bureau Veritas. So it's an environmental lab doing testing with, it started out being microbiology, so drinking water testing. And then it actually evolved into what I moved here to do, which was ecotoxicology, which is crazy because there's only a handful of labs in all of Canada. And yeah, the interview I got was for microbiology, but turns out there was also the ecotox lab attached to it. So yeah, I did that for a number of years. I also did like sample logistics. So I worked with receiving samples and logistics of that and importing. And then I became the supervisor for the ecotox lab. Yeah, and then in that time as well, they shut down our Edmonton lab and kind of moved everything to Calgary. So the ecotox lab was still in Edmonton because it doesn't exist in Calgary, and it's a huge ordeal because it's testing with fish. So you have all these big tanks with trout, rainbow trout, and like a lot of licensing, and it's pretty specialized. So unless you're going to relocate everyone out to Calgary, then it wouldn't really work. So I didn't see any more growth at that company. And I don't know, I'm fairly ambitious. So
Yeah.
I had been homebrewing. That was also the other thing. When I got hired at that job, they asked me what my hobbies were, and I was like, I don't have any hobbies. I just finished school.
Yeah.
So my friend lent me their homebrew kit, and I just started making beer at home. And so yeah, when they shut down the lab in Edmonton and I was looking at what I wanted to do next, I was like, maybe open a brewery. So started doing research, spent 5 years visiting breweries and putting together a business plan and researching what we wanted to do.
That's fun research.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Could be
maybe
worse.
from Ontario, so going out to visit my parents and going to breweries in Ottawa, Montreal, and Kingston. And then also Taylor is from the Okanagan, so getting to go out to BC and check out breweries that way.
Nice.
Lots of research and asking questions.
So when you first started home brewing, what was it about that process that you kind of got interested in? Because I know lots of people that start and they're like, yeah, this just isn't for me. So what was it about the process that you enjoyed?
I really like that I get to use my science degree. So lots of like chemistry and biology, like with yeast. So here, like I count all my yeast and check the yeast viability and have water chemistry on all of our beers and tweak them.
Hmm.
So I love that I still get to use the science part, but I love also that it is art and that I can like be creative and use a different, not just like my brain for science, but also my palate and tasting things and tweaking things and coming out with new flavors. So I enjoy
Yeah,
that challenge and getting to use my science degree still.
I love that. So as a home brewer, so when you first started playing around with the home brewing, how quickly did it evolve into something that you started to take maybe a little bit more seriously than you were expecting?
Um, I think whenever I started attending the meetings for the homebrew
Yeah.
club and chatting with members, and back then it was pretty competitive. There was a couple of people who were competing in national competitions. So I thought, and every meeting they would announce like who won medals and stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll try. Like I'll submit a couple, and then I'll get some feedback on my beer.
Hmm.
So when I won my first medal, it was like really exciting. And I was like, okay, like maybe, maybe this is something that I want to keep doing. And so I would submit to all the competitions around Canada, and then I would get the feedback, and then I would tweak based on their feedback, and then I would submit it again and then tweak based on their feedback and just keep doing that. So brewing like 20 different versions of each beer. And most of those are on tap right now at our place. So it's kind of cool and a lot of work.
Yeah, no kidding. So at what point did you start to realize? I'm just curious, like the timeline, like how long it took before you realized that this is something that maybe was more than just a hobby for you. That's something that you could, like you said, transition and make it your new career.
I think whenever I started thinking about what I wanted to do
Yeah.
as a career, and like when the lab shut down, and that was when I really started considering it as a career. But also talking to brewery owners and realizing it's a ton of work,
Yeah.
and you have to like really be invested.
Hmm.
And also like I've read a couple of different books too of people opening breweries and the challenges they face, and um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a romanticized notion of what it could be to own a brewery, and then there's realities. So the more you're kind of walking in eyes wide open, probably, because yeah, there's some fun parts to it, obviously, but yeah, the challenges are real.
Yeah, and we have it pretty easy compared to breweries who started many years ago, because a lot of like in some places they had to change legislation, and
Hmm.
yeah, like at least there's a lot of breweries around, so the framework's already set. The city of
Right.
Edmonton knows what to expect. Like
Yeah.
AGLC has been dealing with this for a while, so.
Yeah, that's fair. So when you started to build Polyrhythm, and you talked a little bit about, the community that you're in, a couple of things, why did you choose to stay in Edmonton? And then maybe why did you choose the specific area of Edmonton that you did for the brewery?
Yeah, I mean, we did contemplate that because we hadn't settled down roots anywhere. We did contemplate maybe Calgary. It's
Hmm.
close to the mountains. We love hiking, and yeah, but we love the people in Edmonton. It feels like a big city, but like you run into people that you know all the time, like everywhere, even at the
Right.
grocery store, and it feels like a little town, but like a big city. So we decided to stay in Edmonton. Um, and the brewery scene here isn't like as fully developed as it is in Calgary. It has its pros and its cons,
Hmm.
but we felt that there was still lots of room for breweries here.
Yeah.
And the location that we chose, we actually live by Happy Beer Street, and we did look there for like 6, 7 months. There was no spaces that like seemed to work for what we wanted. We wanted enough square footage. So we were looking for something at least 3,000 square feet. And we wanted lots of taproom space, and we wanted like the space to have our production. And we live there. So that would have been perfect. But yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah.
Also, Taylor is a journeyman electrician, so that was super handy. So we kind of knew a little bit what we wanted. So we're looking for utilities. We wanted to make sure we had enough power, that we had
Hmm.
three-phase power. A lot of those buildings didn't, and we know the cost of putting that in was going to be a lot. So we're kind of looking for the utilities, enough water, drainage. So we'd go look at a warehouse, and we're like, there's no drains at all. So you'd have
Right.
to rip up all the floor and put that in. And we're like, I don't know. I don't think so.
It's
So we
it's
found
nice.
this.
It's nice to have that kind of like it's an interesting kind of perspective to have. But yeah, you're you're saving money by realizing these things beforehand. A lot of
Yeah.
people learn the hard way.
Yeah. So Taylor having experience with that was super helpful. We found the place that we're in. It wasn't even on the market yet. And our realtor knew it was coming up for lease. Looking back, we're probably a little bit crazy and bit off a lot more than we could chew, but it was an old Frady's factory. So they used to make sausage. So
Oh, sweet.
it has tile floor, slope floors to the drains. It already had trench drains put in. It came with this huge walk-in cooler, and it had like a whole upstairs area with wooden beams, and it had a fireplace, which was super random but cozy. And we did our research, and there's 20,000 people that live within the area, within like a short walk away.
Nice.
And then industrial areas, so lots of people after work. So we see like a big after work crowd. And then like on the weekend, we see people come in from the neighborhoods. So we were kind of banking on that. Um, yeah, and it had lots of power, lots of water. So,
Nice.
and great neighbors.
So where does the name come from?
Taylor is a drummer, so we want to
Yeah.
combine. We wanted this to be authentic, and we wanted to combine both of our interests and both of us to have an equal say in our branding and our business. So, him being a drummer, polyrhythm is when you have two or more rhythms together, and you're combining them and layering them on top of each other, so that creates a harmony.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. So from the time that you guys decided, okay, we're going to start a brewery, to the time that you, let's say you opened and you served your first pint, how long was that?
Well, we did like 5 years of 4 or 5 years of research.
Okay.
From when we started looking from the building that for a space, it took like 8 or 9 months, and
Hmm.
then we had a little bit of a grace period because there were still tenants in here, so we were able to like start working with the city for a couple of months. That was another 3 months. So by that point, it's already been a year since we started looking and we got possession, and then it
Hmm.
took 10 months to get through permitting, and then kind of building everything out. So it's which that part is so stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Taylor, so okay, curious what roles. You're primarily brewing the beer. What's Taylor's role in the company?
So I brew the beer. I do a lot of our graphic designs. I do all of our like HLC stuff, our accounting stuff, like half the payroll stuff, all of our ordering and whatnot. Taylor does all of our sales, and he was only part time when we first started. So it's been like a year and a half. So the first year he was full time to part time at electrical, and
Hmm.
then now he does all of our sales. He does like our tap room like management, and honestly fixes everything that breaks. 'Cause
Yeah.
that happens a lot.
That's so as an entrepreneur and a business owner, is there something in the company, in the business that maybe surprised you that you enjoy doing that you never thought you would kind of be in charge of?
Um, I don't know, maybe graphic design stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, did you have any background in that at all?
No, not at all. Like I'd been playing around, always like playing around with things, but like I don't know. It's also really cool when people come into the tap room. They're like, "Oh, I really like that can,"
Yeah.
and it's yeah, I don't know. It's like cool. You like what I like.
Yeah. That's cool. You mentioned kind of the science and the art of beer. So, as a scientist, scientific background, how do you balance those two things? Because obviously, it is good to approach it from a scientific background so that you have that consistency. But like you said, it's part art. So how do you balance those two things?
I think writing everything down and having procedures and recipes that you're like being consistent about.
Hmm.
Um, and then like documenting, like, especially I've been doing this, like documenting hop lots and then writing notes for flavor and taste on
Hmm.
your hop lots. So that's like the scientific approach, and then like counting my yeast and making sure viability is all good and all the data tracking. Where the art comes in is like when the beer is done fermenting, then you like taste it, and if there's anything that needs to get adjusted, like make those adjustments and don't just like blindly package the beer. I think that's where the art really comes in, because even if you follow everything the same way, just sometimes there's little variables that you don't think are going to affect anything, like
Yeah.
agriculture products can change. So yeah, just making adjustments, and especially when you're doing new stuff. Like we did a lemon cream tea tart ale, and I was like, I didn't do a pilot batch of it. Like I kind of did some like little trials of stuff, and tasting things, but I'm brewing the beer, and then I'm like, okay, this is what's missing, and then like we put tea in, and then a little bit more citric acid, and taste things till you get it where you like it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So how did you guys come up with, when you first opened the doors, what types of beers you were going to have in terms of, and what was your philosophy there in terms of what you were going to have for cores, how you might do seasonals? How did you come up with that?
Um, a year before we were opening, actually a year before we started construction, I knew that we needed to have IPA because IPA sells and people want IPA. And on a homebrew scale, I just was not happy with how my IPAs were turning out. So I spent a whole year, and all I did was brew IPA. I brewed 18 versions of our hazy,
Wow.
playing with different yeasts, trying to pick what yeast I wanted, seeing like any hop combinations that I liked. And then I finally was happy with it, which is good because that was it was a lot of IPA, like 20 liters every batch. Like I could not possibly drink all of that and gave a lot of it away, ended up dumping a lot of it because I was just trying to brew to get the recipe right. And I kind of fell in love with them. So it became it's a big part of what we brew now. Uh, and I knew that we just needed to have some basic style. So I our cores were the recipes that I homebrewed and that I worked at for years and years and years. So that's how we decided what our starting lineup was. And for our core beers, we kind of just went with what sells. Like if something is selling, I'm going to keep making it. If it stops selling, then I'm going to stop making it.
Yeah.
We tried to have a California Common as a core, and it just, the red ale and the California Common were competing against each other. People don't understand what it is, but people know what a red is because it's a color.
Hmm.
So we dropped the Cal Common as a core, and we're going to bring it around like seasonally.
Right.
So I think just looking at what is, that's how we decided our
Yeah.
cores too. And if an account wants to pick it up, then that helps too. Like we only plan on having one hazy IPA as a core, but then a restaurant picked up the one that we were going to drop, and then they wanted to keep it around. So we just kept it around. And I think people would be upset if we got rid of it at this point. So now we
Yeah.
just have 2 hazy IPAs as a course.
So what does your team look like now? How many people are on your team?
Just me brewing in the
Yeah.
back still. It's pretty crazy. Taylor helps with packaging, and that's it for the back. And Taylor does our sales. For the tap room, we do have a tap room manager who also makes all of our hot dogs. So he makes them all from scratch. He grinds the meat, cases them, smokes them at Muley's.
Oh, wow.
So Stu is a big part of our team, and I think we have 6 other taproom staff also. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome. So what is your plan then in terms of, like you're mentioning, Taylor does a lot of the packaging. What is kind of your distribution? Is it mostly tap room, or do you have some accounts, like in terms of liquor stores and stuff like that?
Yeah, we're like 40% tap room, 60% distribution,
Cool.
a lot more cans. So when we're brewing like our one-off hazy IPAs. A lot of liquor stores pick that up all around Alberta.
Yeah.
So we use Connect a lot, and we are really lucky also where we are situated because the Connect warehouse is a 4-minute drive. So we can just easily load our vehicle and go drop it off at Connect, and anyone in Alberta has access to it. So
Nice.
that's been a huge part of our business plan. And if we didn't have that, our business plan wouldn't work. So
Yeah.
we are really lucky to have that, and that is a huge benefit of Alberta is having that warehousing, because LCBO is very different, and so is BC, from what I understand.
Yeah. Any plans to expand beyond Alberta? Is there any areas that you would like to be in someday?
Well, I believe in May the direct to consumer opens up for
Hmm.
Canada, so we'll see what happens with that. We don't have any plans to deal directly with any other provinces, but we'll probably look into shipping because
Yeah.
I mean we both have family in Ontario, family and friends in Ontario and
Yeah, exactly.
in BC. So
That'd be awesome. One of the things that you were mentioning in your notes is one of your favorite things is just hearing people enjoying themselves, laughing in the tap
yeah,
room. So how important is that? Like I always think of a community as kind of there's two beer communities. There's the people coming into your tap room first and foremost that are enjoying themselves. So how cool is it to be able to brew the beer, but then be there to watch people enjoying what you do for a living.
yeah, it's cool. It's weird. It was really weird at first too, but it is, yeah, it's really cool when you just see that and everyone's just having a good time. Like right now it's Friday, so we have our vinyl Friday, so people
Mhm.
bring in their records and we play them, and they are so excited to be able to bring something in that everyone else gets to enjoy too, so they get to experience that the same way I kind of do with my beer.
That's awesome. And then the other part of community to me is, the overall beer community. So in Edmonton with with all the different breweries, how important have they been to your success, and have you been able to maybe help other breweries as they've opened their doors?
Yeah, for sure. Like Ben Stick helped us out a bunch. Like with we would shoot ideas off of them. Like when we were opening up, we invited them to come over, and we're like, "Are we crazy? Like, are we going to be able to make this work?"
They're like, yes, you're crazy.
Yes, you're crazy. Uh, they even like looked over our equipment that I was going to order and like gave me suggestions on things. We also recently just did a collab with them, which is fun, and um, everyone is so welcoming and in the community here in Edmonton for beer. And
Nice.
yeah, even Calgary, I know there's like sometimes people think there's animosity, but yeah, like we did a collab with Establishment and 88, and we just did one with Brew Smith. We released yesterday. We did a Caesar beer.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah,
And it's released, you said?
yeah, we released it yesterday. So it's at Brew
Cool.
Smith, and our tap room is draft only. It's like 600-liter total batch, so it's very small.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And yeah, Colin also like homebrews a lot, and I had a Caesar beer recipe I've been working on, and it came up like a year ago. We were chatting about it, and he's like, I also have a Caesar beer recipe. So
Really?
he came by, and he's like, do you want to make a Caesar beer recipe or Caesar beer? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do it. So
That's
we added
awesome.
like steak spice, clam juice, tomato paste, Worcester sauce, Tabasco, lemon puree, celery salt, like all the things. Yeah, it's crazy.
And are you able to are you able to test that before or is it just a small enough batch that it effectively is a test batch?
Yeah, we tested it. Like we added steak spice, clam juice, tomato paste, and Worcester sauce on the hot side, and then we
Hmm.
let that ferment out. And then Colin was in town in Edmonton for beer judging this past weekend, so he brought a
Hmm.
growler up, and we tried it. And he added lemon puree because we knew we wanted that. And then we just like tried out different ingredients that we wanted to add to it, like. We put a little bit of citric acid in it, and the celery salt really like made it Caesary. So we just decided how much salt we'd want to put. We were going to put dill pickle, but it was too much vinegar. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. we did test things out and put a lot of thought and effort into it.
I love it. So did they have it on tap there as well? You said at Brewsmith?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
cilantro and chive got a keg too.
Oh, nice. Good. I got an excuse to head down to Brewsmith then today.
Yeah,
Um,
and we both do hot dogs too, which is fun.
nice.
So we did a Caesar dog.
Yeah.
So it goes really well with the Caesar.
It's all about pairing, right?
Yeah.
So when you back before you started the brewery, you started brewing as kind of a hobby. So now that brewing is your career, what do you do? Like when
Is
you're
my
burnt
hobby.
out, when you're tired, what do you do as a hobby?
Um, I do a little bit of knitting. I mean, Taylor and I would love to be able to have the time to go hiking.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I just hang out, just try to chill and decompress. Like it's long days. Like sometimes we get home at like 8 or 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It's getting a little bit better now. Like we'll usually get home in time for dinner, but it's long days. There's not like a lot of time to do things. Taylor took up disc golf, which is super fun.
I've heard a lot about that actually. Like,
Yeah.
what's funny is that when I talk to people about disc golf, it's like pickleball. I think it should be fun, and then when I hear about it, it's like people take it way too seriously.
Yeah.
Is he one of those guys where he kind of goes full on and starts taking it too seriously?
I don't think so. No, he's just doing it for fun.
Good.
I haven't played yet, but we are going to Yakima for hop selection
Oh, wicked.
in a couple weeks, and the event that evening that we're going is disc golf. So
Yeah.
I will attempt it for the first time.
That's awesome. I want to ask you about some awards because as a home brewer, you won a national award. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
what was
yeah.
that one?
Well, I won multiple, but I did
Okay.
come fifth in Canada the one year, and then 11th the year after. I got a little bit busy with work. I stopped brewing as much, but yeah, that was fifth in Canada. So you compete. I think there was 11 competitions, and then it's a point system.
Yeah. So what was the award then? Is just like best home brewer or what was there for the
If you won
category?
first place, then yeah, you get best home brewer.
Nice. What
Yeah.
was your recipe for that one?
Well, that's throughout the year, so I was submitting a whole bunch
Oh,
of them.
okay.
But like my most awarded homebrew recipe is our Imperial Stout.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, and that one got silver last year at the Alberta Beer Awards. So
Oh,
it's
sweet. Good
also
for
fun.
you.
Yeah.
So how important are awards? I talk to a lot of breweries and some think they're very important, some kind of dismiss them. What's your philosophy with awards?
I think for us and trying to grow, I think getting awards is a way for consumers and for beer purchasers to trust your brand a little bit more.
Hmm.
I think it kind of puts that stamp of approval that, there's so many breweries out there now.
Yeah,
So I think that it's for us, it's important. And I also think it's kind of fun. And
yeah,
yeah, I,
absolutely.
yeah.
The awards that Colin was up for this weekend, what were those ones?
The Alberta Beer Awards.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I also started judging in 2018. That was another thing that I got really into at the Homebrew Guilds, and it really helped me learn. And so part of that tasting aspect and the art aspect is like when you're tasting the beer of like, yeah, you like it or you don't like it, or it's kind of narrowing down what you like and what you don't like, and like narrowing down what the malt profile is or what the hop profile is, or if there's something wrong with it, what is it? Because a lot of times you can fix it. There's
Hmm.
certain ones that you can't fix, but sometimes you can fix them. So if you can taste them and you can identify them, you can fix it before you put it into a can.
Right,
Then
right.
so
That's cool. So if you wouldn't have opened up Polyrhythm, as you were kind of like switching career, what would you be doing right now? Do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. It'd always be fun to open like a beer bar. If I wasn't making the beer myself,
Yeah.
then yeah, I think that would be
So
fun.
something in the industry though, hey?
Probably. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I started homebrewing and getting really involved in the industry. And I've been judging like the Alberta Beer Awards since 2019.
Mhm.
And like I've judged the Canada Beer Cup. This will be 3 times at the end of the month. And the Prairie Beer Awards and the BC Beer Awards. So I've like traveled around Canada too, judging and
Oh,
being
wow.
involved.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just, I don't know. Yeah, probably something in the industry.
So going back to customers, because one of the things, back in the day, I'll say, breweries weren't really, the idea of having a tasting room and having a tap room didn't exist. And then so really, if you think about like Alley Cat, for example, when they first started, um, they brewed their beer as a production facility, and then their beer went out and got sold. But you guys in the kind of the new world of craft beer, having those tap rooms and having that interaction with customers on a daily basis, how important is that to you, just for feedback as a brewer?
I mean, I do go into the tap room and like talk to people all the time, but a tool that I use that brewers hate, I hate it too, but Untap. And looking at ratings, especially like our IPAs, because it's just like hop variability. So I can see and like pull data and be like, do people like this hop? Like,
Yeah,
I like it, but do people like it?
nice.
So I do make decisions about our beers based on that. Some people are jerks, but you just kind of look at it as a whole, and then I use that as a tool for sure, and
Yeah.
listen to feedback.
Have you had any interactions with customers, whether that's at when maybe it's at a festival, but maybe it's like in your tap room, um, negative or positive, that is kind of maybe changed the way you think of things, change your philosophy in any way?
No, not really.
No?
Not based on like one
Yeah.
interaction. Yeah, no, not that I can
It's
think.
interesting. Um, so as an entrepreneur, um, I guess when you look at what you've created and your world now as a business owner and entrepreneur, is that something that growing up ever thought you would be? Is that something you aspire to? Is was to someday own your own business or someday be an entrepreneur?
No,
No.
no. I wanted to be a vet. That's what I wanted to do. I want to go to veterinary school and do that. That was my
Yeah.
goal. That's what I envisioned. Um, I never saw myself in business. Like
Yeah.
that's what my dad kind of is in that department, and I I was like, that's not for me. It looks so stressful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's super stressful, but yeah, no, I never envisioned that.
Yeah. And now that you are one, is there something that how has it been for you? Has it been something that you've taken to? Is it something that still stresses you out, that you got to pinch yourself to say, like, I can't believe I own this business? Like, what's your thoughts on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think that often it's kind of crazy, and it's like
Yeah.
when you're in it and you're just like focused, it's just like you don't think about it when you step back and you're like, wow, we have people that work for us. We have people
Hmm.
who depend on us. That part
Yeah.
is crazy. Um, yeah, and just like, yeah, it is crazy. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of pressure. When you step back and take a look, it is a lot. Would I do it
Yeah.
again if the place burned down? That I rebuild? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I said
Taylor.
that I said that years ago. Someone asked me what advice I would give to someone just getting into, starting a business, and I kind of have jokingly said, "Don't do it," because it is a fun journey, but it's a lot harder than, sometimes people just look at the fun part. They don't realize the day-to-day stress.
Yeah, and like my philosophy is just like being all in, not allowing it to fail, and doing everything that I can to make sure it doesn't fail.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, sacrificing personal life and not having a ton of time. Luckily, Taylor and I are in this together. We
Yeah.
work late nights together. We understand. Sometimes I'm brewing late. Sometimes he has tasting events where he is out till like 10 or 11. So I think having someone that you can lean on that understands that makes that so much better. I couldn't even imagine. Um, yeah, like have definitely sacrificed like hanging out with my friends and
You
yeah,
can just have them
but
come to the tap room, can't you?
yeah, but then like I'm like working, I'm brewing beer.
That's true.
So yeah, people come and chat all the time and I love chatting, but then I end up staying like super late. So
Yeah.
I'd rather sit in the tap room and have a beer and chat. But
Have you had any mentors through this whole journey?
I mean, the guys at Ben Stick have
Yeah.
been super awesome. I don't know about mentors, just a lot of people and asking questions, not one specific person.
Yeah.
I mean, when establishment opened up, we definitely looked up to them because they were homebrewers. All three of them were
Hmm.
homebrewers, and like if and them being like, I think they got Alberta Best Brewery 3 years. But
Yeah.
just looking at them, it's like if they can do it from that homebrew background, I don't need to be like. Of course, having professional brewing experience helps, but just like that part was scary. Of I'm opening a brewery, like hopefully I can figure out how to make beer, which I did on YouTube videos. So
Yeah.
that's a thing. But definitely having people to look up to and like, okay, this is not so scary. They can do it. If I put
Yeah.
the work in, then we can we can get there too.
Absolutely. Is there I'm just curious, and I don't often ask this, but for some reason it just came to me, and I want to. Is it a what is it like being, a female in the brewing industry? Like, is there opportunities? Like, do you guys kind of create a like a cohort where you can support each other, or is there is the dynamic? Is it kind of a non-issue? I'm curious.
It's not. It's a non-issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the other co-owner and brewer that is Lisa at Benstick.
Hmm.
I mean, it's also like a whole different thing when not only you're the brewer, but you're also an owner, and that owner perspective comes with like so much more stress and so much more things that you have to do.
Hmm.
That even if you're like talking to a brewer, it's just not the same. But you talk to an owner and they get it. It's like yeah, it's totally different. So not necessarily like leaning on other women in the industry or yeah, I mean there's not a lot of female owners. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. When you look at it, I mean, I like that in that, yeah, when you're talking as brewers, like if you're not also an owner, your perspective is a little bit narrower if you're simply brewing
yeah,
beer. So your perspective when you're also the owner, it's like, yeah, but now you're really focused on the cost of, maybe the
yeah,
ingredients, like the overhead of just running the brewery altogether, having the tasting room. So your decision making is a little bit more holistic as the owner than if you were just the brewer.
yeah. I mean, I guess a different perspective though is because I am the owner. I don't care as much for cost of ingredients. If it's higher quality, I'll spend the
Hmm.
money on it because I can make that decision because I'm an owner. So
Right.
I'd rather buy higher quality ingredients and use that in our recipes. But then, like, I do also have the stress of rent coming out and utilities and payroll and all of this stuff. So I'm seeing all of that pile up, and then also all the other costs for brewing. So
So curious about, when you look back at everything that you've done to create the business to this point, what would you say has been overall the biggest challenge for you?
um, I would say the time commitment, like the
Hmm.
amount of time that we're putting in, and we really tried to not spend a ton of money starting out. And then just like doing a lot of work ourselves. So Taylor did like all the electrical. I learned how to drywall. We cleaned this place top to bottom. It
Yeah.
was a disaster when we moved in, but doing all of all of that and saving that money and then just like building things as we go. Like we just got a delivery van this week, which is super exciting.
Nice.
Um, but just doing those growth, like having that growth in
Hmm.
a way that is sustainable, took a lot out of us and we sacrificed a lot of personal time. So that was the biggest struggle opening
Yeah.
for sure.
And then what would you say has been the most rewarding in the journey?
I think I think the events in the industry, like going to Unity Brew and hanging out with people, or cornhole tournaments at Blyman, or I finally got to go to the field day with Red Shed and checking out barley fields, and I I had never like gone out. Like I've driven by fields, but you don't actually know what they are. Like the difference of what the oats
Hmm.
look like in the field versus wheat and barley and rye, which is very cool. I'm really excited for hop selection, like those kinds of things.
That's cool.
And I guess it's still like the learning, getting to learn is exciting, and
Yeah,
enjoy that still.
I like that. So Polyrhythm 5 years from now, what would be the vision?
Um, well, I would like to not work 14-hour days, but that is coming. Um, we're looking at getting some more tanks and hiring another brewer into next year, and maybe a second taproom location.
Nice.
Yeah, we've kind of noticed that we brew a lot of hazy IPA, and they move really well in liquor stores, and they move really well in our tap room. People come in and they want a whole flight of IPA,
Hmm.
but they don't sell really well in like on tap at restaurants because they don't pair super well with food. So a restaurant's not going to have 6 hazy IPAs on tap.
Right,
Um,
right.
so we kind of are looking at how do we expand, how do we grow. Our tap room is kind of in a little secluded area, so maybe a
Hmm.
second tap room on the other side of the city. Um, that's kind of what we're potentially looking at in the next couple of years.
So how do you do that and stop working 14 hours a day? Those two goals seem
You hire a
mutually.
brewer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You hire a brewer, you get staff that are awesome, and basically the tap room handles itself now.
Yeah. Knock
So
on wood.
just people you trust and kind of go from there.
Awesome. Well, this has been. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know that you're busy working. I think you said you just finished a brew
Yeah,
before
just
we
finished
connected here.
brewing. Get to go to Barrel Fest tomorrow, which I'm
Nice.
excited about. We haven't. It's the third year, and we haven't been able to go. I was judging Canada Beer Cup in Niagara Falls last year. So
Okay. Sweet.
yeah,
Nice.
excited
Good
to
for you.
finally go to Barrel Fest.
Well, my biggest when I reimagined the podcast, I still wanted to make sure that I was very much connecting with people in the beer industry because it kind of connects my two passions: one being beer, and two just talking to people who, are entrepreneurs and are building businesses. Because I think what you guys are doing is definitely inspiring a lot of people. So to kind of hear your story. And just know that there are ups and downs, right? And that
Yeah,
it's a grind, but
if you want
um,
to do it, you can do it. You just have to put the work in for sure.
absolutely. Well, you're still smiling, so I mean that's a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
I'm still
Well, thank.
enjoying it. I'm still loving
Are
it. I
you?
still love the industry. I am still having lots of fun.
Yeah.
Um, so that
Well,
says
the
something.
idea, like you said, like you're excited that you're going to Barrel Fest tomorrow.
Yeah.
So if you were dreading it, then you'd have to start questioning yourself. But
Yeah.
the fact that on your day off you want to go drink beer and hang out with people in the industry is a good sign.
Yeah. Um, Taylor and I talk about it. It's not days off. It's also like moments off.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I
Nice.
definitely enjoy those moments when we
Yeah.
get to have those.
Awesome. Well, I really do appreciate you taking the time. And next time I'm in Edmonton, I will definitely be there for a pint
Yeah. Come
and
stop
a
by.
hot dog.
Have a hot dog. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Chelsea.
See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to the Create Podcast. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. See you next Wednesday.